at 7.6. We're now at 7.6, and this is solving radical equations and examples. Okay, so taking a look here with this problem, this is really not that challenging of a problem. Okay, so I don't want you to jump the gun and go, oh, what do we do? It's the same as every other problem that we've done. There's just one little tiny step that's just a little different. But anyway, I want to try to get this x by itself, which means I need to get that whole parentheses by itself. In order to do that, I need to get rid of this 4. So I'm going to subtract 4 on both sides, meaning those are gone. So I have a 3x minus 1 to the 2/3 left over. And let's make this a brighter color here so it jumps at you. Not so bright, is it? Maybe black will be better here. And all of that equals 52 minus 4, which is 48. All right. This is 3 times all of that, so if I divide both sides by the 3 is now gone. So I have an x minus 1 to the 2/3 left over, and 48 divided by 3 is 16. Now, the question is, how in the world do I get that 2/3 out of there? Okay, well, this is what I want you to think about. If you had a square root of x, you squared it. Well, look at it like this. X to the 1/2. Isn't x to the 1/2 the same as a root? Yep. X to the 1/2 is the same. So 1/2 and 2, you could also write that as a 2/1. So what do you notice about those? Those are reciprocals of each other, right? If I had x to the 3rd root of x, right? We said we take it to the 3rd power to get rid of it. Well, guess what? The 3rd root is like saying to the 1/3 power, and oh, look, I take it to the 3rd. What's the reciprocal of 1/3? 3/1. The point I'm getting at here is this to the 2/3, right? Since to the 2/3, let's take both sides to the reciprocal, which is 3/2. If I take both sides to the 3/2 power, right? If I take both sides to the 3/2 power, this cancels out, giving me an x minus 1. And then I have 16 to the 3/2. So 16 to the 3/2 is 64. So really I have x minus 1 equals 64. I can add 1 to both sides, and I get x equals 65 as my answer. The next one, same way of solving the problem. I would add 3 to both sides because I'm trying to get all of this in parentheses by itself. So I end up getting 1/2 times 3x minus 1 to the 3/4 equals 1 plus 3, which is 4. Well, a fraction, getting rid of a fraction, is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal on both sides. So if I multiply by 2/1 on both sides, right? If I multiply by 2/1, those are gone. So now I have a 3x minus 1 to the 3/4. 4 times 2 is 8. So just like we just discussed, what power do I have to take both sides to in this problem? Well, the reciprocal of 3/4 is 4/3. So I have to take 8 to the 4/3 power. So when I'm doing this, 8 to the 4/3 is 16. So really, this cancels out, and that becomes 16. So really, I have 3x minus 1 equals 16. Add 1 to both sides. So you get 3x equals 17. Divide both sides by 3, and you get x equals 17/3 as your answer. All right. With this one, this is all together underneath that root. So let's get rid of this 5. And to do so, it's minus 5. So let's add 5. So when I'm doing this, I end up getting now the square root of x squared plus 3 equals 9. Right? Because 4 plus 5 is 9. Since that whole side is square rooted, right, let's square it. Alright, so if I square both sides, I end up getting these to cancel out. So I now have x squared plus 3 equals 81. So I would minus 3 on both sides to get x squared equals 78. And I would square root both sides. So I get x equals plus or minus, because I square rooted it, the square root of 78. So I'm trying to see if 78 goes into anything nice and evenly. And it's appearing as though it does not. So that would be as simplified as I can make it. Okay, I think we only have what, 1, 2, 3 more, but those are a little more challenging. So let me just try this one more out here before we clip on to another clip. But plus 1 and minus 1 cancels out because I want to get rid of those. So I have 3. I have the third root of 1 minus x squared equals negative 8 minus 1, which is negative 9. It's 3 times this, so if I divide both sides by 3, I get rid of this. So I have the third root of 1 minus x squared equals negative 9 divided by 3, which is negative 3. And the third root means I need to take this to the third power. So I get rid of the third root, so now I'm looking at 1 minus x squared equals negative 3 to the third, which is negative 27. So I minus 1 to get rid of this 1 here. Get negative x squared equals negative 28. Divide both sides by the negative to get rid of the negative. So that's gone. So now I have x squared equals positive 28, and I square root both sides to get rid of that squared term, so I get x equals plus or minus the square root of 28. Well, guess what? That I can simplify. Alright, that one I can simplify. The square root of 28. Okay, so the square root of 28, I can take 28 into 4 and 7, right? Square root of 4, square root of 7. And the square root of 4 I can rewrite as 2. So really your official answer here is x equals plus or minus 2 root 7 is your actual answer to that problem. And when we come back here, we will finish up with 7.6, solving radicals and rational equations.